Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Hope that you're doing well and thank you so much for being here. I want to introduce a topic today that you may get tired of me talking to you about, but in a different way. I am a big fan of positivity. I'm probably like one of the most positive people I know, because I genuinely see the good side of everything. I really do. I mean, even when I'm in the middle of a challenging situation, I always see a positive outcome. And I thought that it's one thing to talk about being positive, and making it sound like it's so easy peasy. But I think if I just put some situations in front of you, and we'll go through them one at a time, some practical ways to respond positively to challenging situations, that might be helpful. Because I think it's easy to say, oh, Margaret, you're so positive because look, you've got a great channel, you've got lots of wonderful people that love you, and you've got a nice family, you've got this, you've got whatever, there's all these things that I've got going for me that you might say, oh, you know what, Margaret has no problem being positive. That's her. But it is me. And it is me despite a lot of things that I don't tell you about everything. You don't know all my story, my whole life. You don't know some of the things I'm facing. And that's all good, because I try very hard to be situationally focused, that I only talk about the things right now that are on my mind that can help you. So the first thing you might be encountering where it's hard to be positive is if you encounter a health issue. Become overwhelmed. This is the normal way, overwhelmed, let it hinder your overall well-being, and you just panic. You're really stressed, you're afraid, it's like, how can you be positive about a diagnosis or a reality with your health that is scary? Now, that's understandable. I totally get it. And I know when I've had my recent situation, I was not Miss Positivity the whole time, but I did see, even in the doctors and the nurses and some of the funny things that happened, I saw a positive lens. But the positive reaction that I would encourage is to see everything that happens with your health as a wake-up call, as a gift. Now, the journey may be a tough one. You may be facing, a long road of healing and recovery. It may take time. It may take years. But to think about it as a journey towards a positive outcome, that you are doing the things you're doing with your health, the medicines you're taking, the treatments you're taking are going to help you. But most of all, that it was a gift. That the whole situation is a gift to know that you've got something you can do about your challenge, and you can make the most of it and be positive and see the positivity in every step forward. Just the fact that you've got more medical technology and help available now. But I certainly found that seeing my situation as a gift to get better at what I'm doing, my health, my diet, my whole lifestyle was wonderful. Another thing that you might feel negative about is a rejection. A friend or a loved one or someone that you really care about rejects you in some way. I mean, it could be divorce. It could be as extreme as that. Someone saying, you're not pretty enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're not smart enough, you're too whatever, all the words that they might use to say while they're wanting a divorce. And that's really, really how do you get positive about that? For goodness sake, I don't know. I mean, because I went through it and I cried for 3 years. But, we just, sometimes it takes time. And, being positive about a separation or someone that hurts you, someone that doesn't show up for you, someone that doesn't support you. Yeah, it's going to be heartbreaking at that moment that it happens. But then you've got to say, okay, how can I find positivity in this? Well, as life happens, change happens. The only thing that's going to work for you in this situation is to focus on your own self-care, the positivity of your relationships that you've got, that are countering the one that you're losing, and the opportunity to start again, to maybe start fresh, to find a new beginning, and to maintain, kind of a flexibility and a calm in the midst of this very serious and dangerous emotional upheaval. But it's hard to be positive about a separation or a divorce or a loss or a rejection. But, hey, okay, it's an opportunity to let that go and start again. Another situation that's actually also very hard to be positive about is if you get criticized. I mean, this is like not even a big thing like a divorce, but it's just like someone doesn't like your point of view. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to become super defensive, self-protective, and dwell on self-doubt that maybe I didn't get it right. Maybe I did do something that was worthy of a criticism or of a comment. And it's like, take it personally. I'm just like, it's all about me. I'm a complete, idiot. I did something wrong that someone criticized. That's the negative side. The positive is to say, hey, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to look at myself, to see where I may have overstepped a conversation or, didn't do something in a way that was taking other feelings into consideration, and how to respond to someone you don't agree with or a situation that you're not aligned with grace. I'm on social media enough that I know what this is like. I don't get a lot of negative comments, but my poor little eyebrows have been through lots of conversations about how horrible they are, or why I'm wearing the wrong color, or, I'm not speaking loud enough, or I'm just not talking realistically about people's situations. I'm just being selfish. You name it, I've had it. But it doesn't bother me, because I'm actually feeling it's an opportunity to consider the feedback, to learn about something new, and to consider, maybe changing something if it's something that is a good constructive comment. So that's another way of dealing with a criticism that you might receive. Another thing that happens where you might get a negative response is if something is like a rejection, or a goal isn't met. Like you apply for a job and you don't get it, or you apply for a position as a volunteer, something simple that, you thought, oh, I could easy peasy get that. It's like, okay, I didn't get it. Why didn't I get it? That's really hurtful. I'm really, really depressed. I'm defeated. I'm giving up. Never again. Never going to try that again. That was completely a waste of my time. Learn my lesson, that kind of negativity. But what about saying, hey, now that I think about it, I actually probably could have approached that in a little bit different way, rather than saying, I failed, I didn't succeed, I wasn't good enough. But like, hey, I am good enough. Maybe I have a different approach the next time. Try something a little bit different. Maybe I'll go online and do some research about an angle that I can use. Or you come talk to us at 60andMe in one of our channels, in our Patreon group or somewhere, and just talk about it, because we're here to help. Okay. For sure. Here's another one that's really a big motivator for negativity. And how on earth can you be positive about financial failure? How can you be positive about being in debt? Okay, I understand that. I've been there. I've done that, like many of you have. It's really easy to beat yourself up and say, I'm not good with money. I've never been good with money. I'm a complete failure when it comes to financing, to saving money, to thinking about the economy. I'm just like a complete waste of time. I'm never good at it. I'm a failure. That's the negative way to deal with it. And that's so easy to not be positive about financial failure. You owe a lot of money and you're scared, and like, how can I feel good about that? Well, positive response isn't about feeling good. It's not about suddenly, I feel I'm going to be positive by, like, for example, remaining optimistic and figuring out ways to approach your debt and so on as a positive response to a negative situation. It's not going to make you feel better necessarily, or feel less negative or less worried or fearful, but it's going to give you an opportunity to confront, the reality of what could be a negative emotional situation. Be positive about trying again, trying a different way, getting some help, talking to a financial advisor, talking to someone that knows how you can approach this differently, talking to friends, reaching out with some honesty and some vulnerability. It's okay. They are going to love you for it if they're your true friends. If they're not, maybe that's another one to be positive about. Another thing is you feel overwhelmed with responsibilities. Maybe you've got family responsibilities, you're a caregiver, and this kind of links to another whole set of problems that can make you feel negative. And that's like, someone else you love is going through a negative situation, a tough time. Sometimes it's your family, it's your children. It could be, if you're very empathic, just the world, just this sense that how on earth can I feel good about climate change, or about the world destroying itself, or about some of the political trauma that's going on in countries all around the world. It's like, okay, how am I going to deal with that? I don't know, but you do. And the positive is that you say, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to lend a listening ear to those people. I'm going to be there for them. I'm not going to criticize. I'm not going to judge. I'm going to just sit by their side. If it's someone that you love that's going through a really difficult time, just say that I'm there for you. Be constructive. We always want to solve problems, don't we? We're the problem-solving generation. But, in a way, you have to kind of stop. And the positive response is to just love them unconditionally. And, to be there for them, just to be there. Even a text every day, or just some message that says, I love you. Remember how important you are to the world. And, I'm here to stand by your side. Loss or grief, of course, is never a positive. But again, new doors, new openings, new beginnings. I know this is actually this is a very difficult video for me to do because my life touches so many of these, and I think it's by recognizing a positive way to deal with it that it's helped me get through them, and is getting through them now. I'm still in that mode with several of these. Okay, so take care of yourselves as well. Remember that there's always a positive lens, even if you have to dive into the negative for a bit. Try to find the positive and move through it and out of it. Take good care, everybody. I love you so much for everything that you are, for your complete person, your vulnerabilities and your perfections and your imperfections too. We're all perfectly imperfect. Take good care. Lots of love.